Hello and welcome to another random car builds. This time the generator brought up a 2012 Fun Premium car. So yeah, this is what I've got. As you can see already on the design process, I put in a lip. I also put in a diffuser just to give it some downforce while I was setting it up. I felt that'd be appropriate for it. I had a bit of trouble trying to design this car. I sort of had a couple of ideas, mostly using that front lip, the sort of splitter piece. Give it some fog lights there and the grille there. I feel like I could have done a lot better things with it, but I don't know. I tried. Bit of a vent there to sort of make it look a bit more aggressive and sporty. Still not totally sold on the headlights, to be honest, but there we go. Just lowering the ride height a bit. Mirrors and things, I don't know. You just make it look somewhat modern, and I thought those were okay. And then sort of taking inspiration from the BMW M3 at the time, giving it a bit of a bonnet bulge, and then just some vents there. I took a lot of inspiration from German cars actually, the Audi's M3, things like that for this car. I tried to do something a bit different for the door handle, since I don't know, I couldn't really figure anything out that I liked. So I tried using that door handle and just putting it sideways. I don't think it really worked. But I don't know, experimenting, right? And just try something and see if it sticks. So that's what I did. And I wanted to have like a little keyhole there, because I felt that would have been realistic. Although I'm not actually sure if they have them. The sort of cars that I was basing it off, but yeah, it didn't really look great. Put in a side marker there and a little bit of a vent, and then just windscreen wipers. Forgot the name of them for a moment. Windscreen wipers and just generic stuff there. It's a bit weird the way they conform to the body shape. It makes them look a little bit bent out of shape, but there we go. The back of it, I was actually quite happy with the light design. I know this isn't the best looking car by any stretch of the imagination, but just sort of what I did here, where, as you'll see now, putting in a second light piece, basically. Yeah, as you can see, just another piece, and I make that the reverse light. I thought that was sort of a neat design feature. I don't know, maybe I'm patting myself on the back a bit for nothing, but I don't know, sort of creative. Plates, and this is where I decided to go full German and set them up to be German plates. So, yeah, I don't know, something a bit different from the usual British plates. Put in just a bit of body detail there, and trying to make the door or the boot lid handle just part of the body shape. I don't think it really worked out too well there. I think it could have been done a bit better, but there we go. And then just adjusting the diffuser slightly and creating some holes for the exhaust. And yeah, then I was just sort of looking for more things to do because this was going kind of quickly. So I start looking at ways of just adding a bit of detail into the side, a bit of shape and depth, basically. So I start using these morphing pieces, and to be honest, I couldn't really get them to work properly. I sort of maybe given enough time, but I sort of didn't want to spend too much time on this and start cutting things out and things like that. So I end up just using vents like this. It's not the best workaround. Use another one and just sort of have that piece there overlapping. It's not exactly great because you can see through the bodywork from one end, but there we go. And then also try and give it some like roof bumps, which I don't think really works out either. They look a bit small and two-centered. And just try to give it a badge. I don't know, this badge looks pretty terrible, to be honest. I feel like I could have done something a lot more creative with it than just 3000T or whatever I put. Yeah, it was 3000T, and then I put Fun Premium on the top, because I'm very creative with names, as you can tell. And at least I have the full stop at the end there. No, I did try and add a bit of a background or something, but I couldn't really get it to work, and it was just all a bit finicky and didn't really look good at all. Maybe I should have moved the badge around a bit, but again, it would have looked a bit awkward. So, ended up painting it silver then, and wheels, I sort of want to give it like this sort of grey not quite black look. I don't know if it really worked. It's a decent enough colour, I suppose. Just sort of making the wheel nuts and things slightly different. I don't know, I don't hate it, hate the colour, it's kind of nice. But yeah, there we go. Then trying to just give it a lip or something at the back to make it look a bit more aggressive, because to be honest, I think it looks far too toned down. You can see the issues I'm having there, trying to move around the roof bubbles things. Yeah, bubbles, that's what they're called. And just, it's not having any of it. I want to have a bit of a vent or something behind the rear window, sort of similar to what I think there's a thing you can get on the Mustang, or at least like the last gen Mustangs, where I think it was aftermarket, maybe a Roush part or something, I want to say, where you could get like a little vent behind the window, and it was sort of that style thing, but I couldn't get it to work, so I put some vents like that. No idea what they're for, fuel cooling or something, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, in the end, I'd sort of try using bumper bar to create a bit of a ducktail. Doesn't look particularly great, to be honest. And then I sort of try messing around with having some vents behind the rear wheels. And it just doesn't work. Let's take a look at the mechanical side of things now. It's a semi-space frame with aluminium panels, so totally aluminium. Sort of Audi inspired, I'd say. And to be honest, I took a lot of German inspiration for the entire build of this. It's got a 3 litre inline 6, so sort of a bit BMW M3. It is turbocharged though, so not really an E46, and then the F82 M3 is twin turbo, so it's not quite a replica, but it's that sort of style. McPherson struts at the front and multi-link in the rear with a 6-speed dual clutch. Now, I have probably geared this maybe a bit too sort of wheel spinny. I should have increased the spacing a little bit. I have already driven this in BeamNG before doing this bit, so you're going to see that in a moment, and it is tricky, we'll say. 245 tyres front and rear, and it's making 380 horsepower basically with VVL, as giving it a bit of a weird sort of power and torque curve here. I do think the turbo gets spooled up nice and quickly, especially for a performance engine. It's got good power, and I think overall it's a decent setup. Maybe running a bit rich, but the market seemed to like that, and I needed to give it good throttle response to get some good sportiness. Since they don't care about fuel economy at all, it was an alright thing to do. My other thing is the steering setup may be a bit too far on the oversteery side. I should have dialed it back a bit, because look at this, it's entirely in the oversteer, and by a significant margin too. Like, that's almost as far away from the red line as the understeer line is from the red line. So, yeah, this thing is a bit of a handful, as you're about to see. Well, here we are then, and I've taken this to the ETK test centre, just because I figured it'd be appropriate. And, oh, why is the diffuser a blue one? That's, I was going to say debluser for some reason. I don't know, right. Oh yeah, dual clutch, right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and as expected, it's oversteery, and, okay, there we go, thank you. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to do spins now. I should paint this red for spastic belt. Whoa. It just spat me off then. Oh god, have I made this undrivable? Oh, on the water. Oh. This thing is borderline undrivable. Fantastic. Right, does it do burnouts? Yeah, we're just going to neutral drop burnout. I'm sure that's good for the transmission. Yeah, I mean, it does good burnouts, which I suppose makes sense for a 380 horsepower rear-wheel drive car with only 245s on the back. Probably not really enough tyre for this. Right, keep it straight. Brake. Okay, it pitches quite a lot. Maybe I should have, like, given it some slightly stiffer suspension. Alright, on water, skid pan. Go. No. Okay, so we at Generic Car Motors, Generic Car Cars, advise you to not drive this thing whenever there's wet weather. Like, the moment you see even grey skies, just like, don't go near this car at all. In fact, even when it's dry, just like, unless you're on the start line of a drag strip, there is not enough grip to go and drive this thing. So Automation wasn't kidding when the graph was basically just oversteer. I mean, I know I'm driving it on controller, so it's not going to be great. But wow, this is shocking. Oh, I almost feel bad about the test driver having to drive this now. But it's fine. I'd link his YouTube channel in the description, so that's good enough compensation. Right, no. Oh, no. So, let's take a look at the Fun Car lap, done with no stability control and the amazing blue diffuser. This one I imagine is going to be a bit of a handful. Not done in sports mode, but to be honest I don't think it makes too much of a difference if you put your foot down while it's in just regular transmission. Doesn't seem to have too many issues. Oh, going very sideways there. Oh, it looks so tricky to drive. Yeah, test driver did say you could get a lot more time out, but yeah, that's quite sideways for like a quick lap. I think I might have set this up a bit too oversteery. I'd imagine if I gave it an actual wing rather than just the diffuser, it would have been at least somewhat drivable, because I would have given it quite a lot of downforce. But yeah, as it stands, oh, and it's pitching so much under hard braking. Oh, that's awful. I love it. It's so terrible. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually the worst driving car, because the first car was quite terrible, the sports car. And a bit of a tap there on the cone. That's quite cool, actually. But yeah, there we go. Quite a hairy lap then. From this, the yeah, Fun Premium car. And it's at a time of... I made sure to check. It's at a time of... Oh, there we go, yeah. I'm professional. 1 minute 12.988. So... it's a decent enough lap. To be fair, yeah, I mean, with the amount you saw it sliding around, there's probably a lot more potential left in it, but whether anyone could be bothered to put in the time and effort to try and get this car to set the sort of time it's capable of, yeah, I don't know. Seems like way too much of a handful. I was just noticed how hot the front brakes are, yeah, because the amount it's pitching forward, all the loads on the front wheels. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Boost and Ethanol for more. And until next video, goodbye.